This is the podcast overview for week 5 of the class. We will be covering chapter 4, stress, illness, and the immune system. So here is the to-do list for this week. You're going to want to check out the objectives here for the chapter, and the podcast where I go over each of these objectives is right there. You can click on. You're reading chapter 4, stress, illness, and the immune system in the Harrington text. There's no reading in the McGonigal book for this week. And then you're going to want to look over the slides for chapter 4 and look those over along with the reading as you go along. And I've also got the video posted again this week. And the reason I do that is because last week I asked you to watch it. We were covering the first part of this kind of segment here, talking about stress and how it affects the body and all of that. And now we're diving even deeper and we're talking about its effect on the immune system specifically, which the video, as you know, talked a lot about that. So I'd really love you to watch the video again. I know it's a longer video, but I think that the repetition is really going to help, especially with understanding how the concepts all interrelate. So when we're talking about the immune system, it's important to understand how neurotransmitters play a role in communicating with parts of the body that help us function, like the heart, like the different organs that pump out hormones in our body when we're under stress. And it's sort of like a fine, intricate interplay of all of those things happening. The video talks a lot about various illnesses and how the body is affected by stress, how stress can often bring on illness or exacerbate an illness and make it worse. So definitely watch that again. As you'll see in the discussion posts for this week, you're going to be incorporating the video again. So the first question asks you if you were to conduct a study measuring the effects of stress on the development of cancer. So how does stress affect one's development of cancer? What type of research method would you use? What would be the advantages and disadvantages of your method? How would you determine if stress played a role in the psychoneuroimmunology or the psychoneuroimmunological development of cancer? So you're really designing a study to try to show the effects of stress on cancer. What kind of study would you do? Would you do an experimental study? Would you do a correlational study? What would be the advantages or the disadvantages of either one of those that you pick or choose? And then how would you link stress to the person's development of cancer? How did stress affect that person's immune system such that they got cancer? So here's where you're going to want to tie in what you're learning about the immune system and how it is affected by stress into your answer here. The second question asks, it pertains to the video, and it asks you to explain some of the long-term immunological effects of stress in the studies mentioned. So in the video, several different studies are talked about in terms of stress affecting the body. Tell me about some of those. Tell me how stress particularly affects the immune system. What studies discussed that in the video? And then additionally, how did Dr. Sapolsky's baboons that he was studying, how did they fare when tuberculosis hit the troop? So you'll want to get to that part in the video where he's talking about his baboons that he'd been studying for decades all got TB. They ate some tainted meat that was at a nearby tourist location. And the whole troop got hit with TB, and some of the baboons made it, and some of them died. It was really sad. But in that occurrence, something really spectacular happened, and that is that Dr. Sapolsky learned some things about the baboons who died and the baboons who lived. How were they different? What was going on there? And what reasoning did he give for that? It had a lot to do with stress and its effects on the immune system. So you'll want to discuss that in a little bit more detail. And then lastly, what are the top 3 strategies that you could employ to bolster your immune system against the effects of stress? Here you're tying in what the book talks about. Why did you choose these 3 strategies? How could you best implement them in your life in a practical way that you would actually do them? So, it's fine to sit here and go, oh, I would do X, Y, and Z, and that would be great, and that would help me be less stressed. But is that practical for you? Are those things you really would do? And how would you do them in your life? So I really want you to dive deep here and find the 3 strategies that for you could actually see yourself using to help combat stress in your life and bolster your immune system, right? To give your immune system that extra advantage that it needs when it comes time to buffering against the effects of stress. So those are your discussion questions for this week. I just want to reiterate, give yourself the week to digest the material, right? So responding to these questions on Tuesday or Wednesday kind of makes me a little bit nervous, to be honest, because I'm thinking you're not getting through the material enough. You're not giving yourself enough time to process the readings and the video. So, if you can kind of give yourself a little more time to do that, and then post your discussion posts, your answer to these questions, that would be good. And then wait till everyone has responded, till the Friday deadline has passed, and then you can go ahead and respond to 3 other people on their posts that they do, and that is going to be the best way to go about the discussion post. Again, I've included the Cite as you write instructions. Most of you are doing much better with your citations. Really, y'all have taken my information that I've given you on your feedback on your discussions. You've taken it to heart, and I've seen some improvement there. A few of you are still making some little errors, so just consult that before you start citing, especially if I gave you feedback last week saying, hey, you need to check this out. That wraps up the week. Please let me know, though, again, if you have questions. I'm here to Zoom with you and help you work through any of that material. Have a great week, everybody.